Alright guys, so today we are going to teach you the snap change. That's right. This is the David Blaine snap change. I believe the only card change we've taught on the channel so far is the shake change. So today we are going to bring in the snap change, as well as we're going to teach the shapeshifter in a little bit. So Robert, why don't you come around and let's give an in-depth tutorial on the snap change.
So first I'm going to show you guys how to do it.
And then after that, I'll give you guys, I guess, some applications. We'll both give you guys some applications for the snap change.
Alright, so basically, if you guys didn't know, it's actually, you actually have two cards. Alright, and basically what's happening
Really?
is this.
Two cards? Never knew.
Yeah, I know, Adam. Thanks for the obvious, So basically you're going to hold it in a grip. And basically, this is the grip right here. And
so Robert is a lefty, so basically whatever he's doing, you'll do with your right hand. So just for a righty perspective, this is what you're going to be doing. Okay?
Lefty or righty.
I'll just do the same thing with Robert.
So basically from here, make sure the cards are squared up. And what's going to happen is you're literally going to snap your fingers. But the thing is, you're holding up two cards. So basically, you're going to apply pressure pushing up with your thumb and down with your middle finger. Your index finger just sort of, I would say, rest there, but basically it's your middle finger and thumb doing the most amount of work. So your thumb is pushing upwards and your middle finger is pushing down. And basically your index finger, I say, would push up just a little bit on the card and help it, square it up so you don't flash this back card. So from a righty's perspective, right here, what's happening, right? You're holding in this position. Make sure you're holding it in the corner, too. And basically what's going to happen, you're here, right? That's basically what's happening in slow motion. So you're sort of snapping your fingers, if you would like to call it like that.
And one little tip, try to hold the card by the edge.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do, I've seen amateur magicians, they go like this.
Oh my.
Yeah, so don't do that. You want to hold by the end, and that way you can actually pull the card off. Just like that is essentially what's happening. You're using your middle finger, and you're kind of rolling the card back is basically what happens.
So to show you, basically, once again, one more time. So basically, it starts like this. I'm going to show you from this angle. And basically, your index finger is going to come up to help peel this card up so it can clear this card right here. So basically, here's what's happening, right? I'm pushing up with my thumb, down with my middle finger. My index finger is helping this card clear the other. And basically, my index finger and thumb are holding this card. And the other card is between my middle finger and my thumb.
So I guess you guys can think of this in multiple ways. Like Robert said, he likes to think of it like a snap. I like to think of it, I guess it is considered the snap change. I like to think of it as just using my middle finger here, to kind of roll the card under like that. And basically what I like to think of is using my middle finger, right? And I have the cards like this, and I'm using my middle finger and I'm rolling it back. What that does is when you think about the middle finger rolling back, it's going to pull under the card. So you can think of it as a snapping motion. If you guys prefer to think of it just like this, where you're in this position, especially for you righties out there, and you're just thinking about moving your middle finger down, and like Robert said, you can use your index finger to kind of stabilize, and then this is your end motion, right? I guess this is your end setup here. So a good tip is to always have the deck in the hand, and then you can kind of go like that, and you can show the card any way you want, I guess you could say.
So we're going to, and guys, this takes a lot of practice. Sometimes I like to hold it with a very loose grip. So when you snap it, if you hold it too tight, right, sometimes the cards will, they won't clear each other if you hold it too tight. So I like a nice loose grip when you're doing it, and they'll just slide right through. It takes a lot of practice. Clearly, the faster you move your fingers, the better it will look.
So one more time. Take your fingers. You're going to put it right there, okay? Hold it by the edge, of course. Have the deck in your left hand. I guess you could think about it as a snapping motion, or what I like to do is think about don't move the index finger is what I do. I don't really like to move the index finger. I like to just roll down with the middle finger and just use, you could see, Basically what happens here with my middle finger when I do this, it's just rolling down just like that. So basically I'm closing my middle finger in at the end of the motion. And of course when you're done, you can always clear that last card and then show the card by itself. So why don't we give some applications for this trick? Well, if you think about it, I think a great way that you could perform this trick. What are you doing? I think
snapping it, bro.
All right. I think a great way that you can do this trick is to have someone, for example, select a card.
Oh, my bad.
Perfect. Select the card, and they can look at it, right? And let's say you do a little kind of card control, whether you do the overhand shuffling control, anything like that, and basically you control to the top. You can get yourself a double lift, right? Basically, you know, do some false shuffles, anything like that, just so you can keep the card on the top. I highly recommend the overhand shuffle control. Basically what you do there is you just peel off cards and you hold a break above their card. You grab 2 packets here and you have a break in between. You go through just like this until you get to that little break with thumb, and then you just brought the card back to the top. So that's just a little quick intro on that control. And once you have it at the top, you just need to get the 2 cards and you can basically say, you know, is that your card? They say no, go ahead and do the snap change, of course. Clear that card and you can show it turned into the 5, and then of course do a one-handed Charlie A. I think one of the greatest applications for the snap change is taking a random card and turning it into their selected card. What you could also do, there's so many ways you can do this. One thing that I love to do actually is this little application, I guess you could say. Basically what you do is you have a predicted card on right here. And all that is basically the card that you kind of want to force, I guess you could say, or I use this as like a prediction, I guess you could say. So let's say you have that as your prediction card, and that actually is your prediction card. And what you do is you can basically say, okay, you know, you can basically say, okay, so let's say we have this card, but that's not actually my prediction card. And then what you can do is you can hold a break here kind of thing, and you can basically change the card, I guess you could say. Or you can simply just go up to people and just say, you know, I'm going to change a card any way you want, I guess you could say. But that is really, you know, just a couple applications for the snap change. You could really do it any way. You could really, you know, take a random card, change it into the selected card. You could really use it as an effect where, you know, you have them, where you show a prediction that doesn't actually match their card, and then you change your prediction to match their card with the snap change, like I said earlier. But yeah, be creative. Once again, the snap change. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And this is Card Shuffler 99. Peace out, guys.